Hi, John Chapin with your latest sales tip. And this tip is about how to handle the sales objection, I need to talk to my wife. It may also be, I need to talk to my husband, my spouse, you get the idea. Now in another video, I'll talk about business situations in which someone tells you they have to talk to someone else, whether it's a boss, a colleague, run it by the board of directors, whatever it is. But this one, we're going to cover the wife, husband, spouse, significant other. So you're doing your presentation, you get to the end, you ask the person how everything sounds to them, and they say, sounds good, looks good, I just need to talk to my wife. So to answer this, you're going to follow the 4-step process that you use with any objection. So first, you're going to repeat it back as a question. You need to talk to your wife? And pause. Don't talk until they do, just like a closing question, and wait for them to respond. What you're hoping for here is that they'll expand on the objection. They'll give you a little more information. If they're uncomfortable with the pause, most people are, they'll give you more. So they might say, well, yeah, we have an agreement on anything over a certain dollar amount. We have to get the other person's okay. Or, well, yeah, I never do anything without talking to them first. And I'll address those in many of the answers that I give you below. But for now, let's say they don't give you anything else at this point. They just say, yeah, I need to talk to my wife. Now you're going to question the objection. And with a wife or the spouse objection, there's really only one effective way to question it. And it sounds like this. Okay, Joe, let me ask you, what exactly do you want to talk to your wife about? Again, you're hoping they'll give you a little more information. Either way, whether they give you more information or don't, your next step is to isolate the objection. To isolate it, say something like this. Okay, Joe, so other than needing to talk to your wife, is there anything else that's holding you back from moving forward right now? Let's say they say that, nope, talking to their wife is the only thing holding them back. In that case, you're going to answer the objection. When you do, I want you to start by asking, Joe, I understand you need to talk to your wife, but if it were solely your decision, completely up to you, independent of your wife's input, would you be moving ahead with the purchase? If they say no, or I'm not sure, of course, you're going to find out why, and then you're going to address that. Also keep in mind that that might be the real objection, and if you resolve that, then the wife objection's probably going to pretty much go away altogether. In any case, let's assume they said, yes, they'd be moving ahead. Next, ask, well then, what are you going to do if she says no? If they say, well, I'd do it anyway, that's a sale. If they say, well, I wouldn't do it. You then ask what their spouse would be opposed to and treat those as separate objections. You can also ask, well, if you don't do this, how are you going to solve your problem? This will generally lead to a deeper discussion. Many times you'll get another objection, in which case you'll deal with it. Or they'll say something like, I really don't know. If you get that, I really don't know response, or they simply stick with a wife objection, you're going to say, Joe, I'm curious. Did she know you were coming down here today? And you discussed the conditions under which you'd be buying? And what were those conditions? So if we meet those and she agreed with you, then you're ready to move ahead? Here's another variation of that. Okay, Joe, so I'm assuming she knew you were coming down here today, right? And did she know you might be buying something today? So you've already got her okay. I mean, if you talked about it, and pause, let them explain. Now, let's say, as I mentioned earlier, they say something like, well, we always discuss purchases over a certain dollar amount before we move ahead. If they do immediately ask, and what is that dollar amount? If they give you a number without hesitation, that might be legit. If they hesitate or waffle at all, even a little, it's a smokescreen. It's not the real objection. In that case, simply say, Joe, what else is stopping you from moving forward right now? If, on the other hand, they give you that specific number, say, okay, well, again, had you discussed that you might be buying today? If the answer is yes, then, Joe, the dollar amount must have come up. And pause. If they say no, she didn't know he was going to look, so, Joe, she has no idea where you are right now? Or they say, well, she knew I was shopping, but not I'd be buying. So she thought you were just going to go out and look at whatever your product is for the heck of it? And pause. From there, if that doesn't get you anywhere, here's some other ways to answer the objection. So based upon your product or service, one or two of these are going to work in your situation. So first one, Joe, I can definitely understand that. At the same time, if you make a good decision for your family, or the two of you, depending upon if they have kids or not, but if you make a good decision for the family, she's probably going to go along with it. Am I right? Another one, Joe, I don't have one customer whose wife jumps up and down about him buying a new lawn tractor or whatever your product is. And I definitely don't want to start a fight at home. At the same time, considering, now you're going to mention your three major benefits they were interested in. So, for example, considering this is going to be much better than what you have right now, it's going to save you a ton of time. It costs much less to operate than you have right now. I think you'd agree with me that this will be a pretty good investment for you. Am I right? Then if nothing else works, Joe, I definitely understand. Look, it's obvious that you need to talk to your wife about this. Let me ask you a question. Could you give me a firm yes or no by tomorrow at, say, 10 in the morning? Wait for an answer. Okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't we get all the paperwork out of the way now, just in case your answer is yes, and then I'll be able to get you into the best possible price, reserve the color you want, put any other timing benefit in here you can come up with, and then say, because if you do move ahead, I'm sure getting the right color or whatever you said in there would be important to you, right? Look, if you're dealing with a true talk to my wife, husband, significant other objection, the prospect will agree to let you fill out the paperwork. If it's something other than that, they'll say, nah, we can just fill it out when I actually decide. If they do, you need to get direct and say, Joe, what else is it? Are you just not interested? Is it something else? And pause. Of course, the other way to handle this, great. Can we get your wife on the phone right now so I can answer any questions she has? Finally, you can ask the 1 to 10 question I use a lot. Joe, on a scale 1 to 10, 1, there's no way you're buying. 10, you're definitely buying. Where are you right now? Whatever they say, what would make it a 10? Again, they may not have to be at a 10 to buy. Just get as close as you can and attempt to close. So I'll be posting more answers to more objections here in the coming weeks and months. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video.